Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I'm coming to you with a discussion video. So it is August, it's the month of Garb August. I am a co-host for Garb August, which is an amazing reading event that was created by Olly over at CriminOlly. I will leave link to everybody, to Olly and all the other hosts in the description box below. My plan for this month is that every Wednesday I want to do a little bit of a discussion video to kind of discuss books and book topics, trashy book topics, if you will. So if you guys have any suggestions for any videos, I know the next couple I think that I'm going to do, but if you guys have any suggestions for anything you'd like to see me talk about here, do let me know. I have been called, and I do refer to myself as, the unofficial category romance queen here on BookTube. It's part of the reason why Olly invited me to be a co-host, because I know category romance. I know category romance pretty well. I like to think so. I've been reading them for over 20 years. I don't stick to just one line or one category. I read all of the ones I love, everything about them. I've been reading them for a long, long time. And yeah, I am the first to sing the praises for these books. But can they be considered trash? Oh, absolutely. Can any book be considered trash? Oh, absolutely. It's trash is in the eye of the beholder, if you will. So, but I do want to touch on it, and this is not a defense of category. It's not a defense of this is just kind of me sitting down and talking through my thoughts on category, how some of it is trash, how some of it is really good, and basically how you, if you have not read any category, why you should, and why you should give it a try. Trash or not trash. Let's put it that way. So I've talked about what category romance is a bunch of times here on the channel. I will leave a link below as well to a couple of the videos that I've done in regards to what category romance is, but the briefest explanation, because I don't want to waste too much of this video talking about it. Category is just that. Every month, okay, so the main one now is Harlequin here in North America and Mills and Boon in the UK or overseas. They are the same company pretty much. It just depends on which side of the pond you're on as to what name they go by. And the line or the categories are all different named. So I think in the UK, the intrigue and the romantic suspense go under the heading of heroes. Whereas here they're two separate lines, intrigue, romantic suspense. So when I say line, I mean category. So the category is intrigue. The category is romantic suspense. And they publish so many of these books every month for the intrigue books, for example, you get 6 new books every month. They go on the bookshelves and they sit there for 1 month. At the end of the month, any books that are not sold, I don't know if they still do this, but it used to be back in the day that they'd actually rip the covers off and then send them back to Harlequin. I don't know if they still do that, but then 6 new books would hit the shelves. So that's the basics of what category romance actually is. They have a very short shelf life. And I think for that reason, that is the biggest reason why most people consider them to be throwaway books. Because literally, as I just said, if these books did not get sold at the end of the month, they ripped off the covers and sent them back. So they were essentially tossed, right? And nowadays with ebooks, it's a lot different. So this book was published, I keep holding it up, but it just happens to be sitting right here, in October of 2022. So for the month of October, this sat on the shelves at your Barnes & Noble, at your Walmart, at wherever you bought books from. And then at the end of the month, it was gone. The physical edition of it was gone. Now, you might be able to hunt it out on thrift books. I happen to find my copy at a thrift store, at a used bookstore. But if you so desired now, because everything, they're publishing all these digitally as well, you can pick this up for your Kindle. So it doesn't quite have the throwaway aspect that it used to. But the thing is that because they're not on bookshelves anymore, or they're only on bookshelves for that 1 month, and they're really only being promoted for that 1 month, people, even a month or two later, are not going to remember that this book came out. You know what I mean? And I just finished it. So spoiler alert for my weekly reading vlog coming up on Sunday. I really enjoyed this one, you guys. But you know, so that's kind of why I'm here, why I like to do these videos and why I like to talk category, because yeah, they get promoted for that 1 month and it's a big push by the authors and the publisher to talk about this brand new book coming out. But then at the end of that month, let's talk about the new brand new book coming out. And I mean, we see this all the time. I mean, books go through cycles, right? If for those of you who are on BookTube or who are on Bookstagram or Book Talk or whatever the case may be, who are hearing about new books, you know, yes, there's going to be a big push for them, but On the other hand, you're not getting the kind of promotion from, like, let's say for a Sarah J. Maas, for example. You know, they're already talking about her book coming out in January. You know, and you know that that book's going to get talked about for months after that as well, right? So it's very much that throwaway aspect that these don't stay in the public consciousness, you know, even in the minds of readers for a very long time, unless you are specifically following an author you enjoy or a line that you enjoy, like a category. Like if you really like the intrigues, you're going to get all of them every month, and you know what's coming out and who's bringing out a book and what have you. I mean, you can follow all the authors on Instagram and stuff like that. And, you know, I am always on the Harlequin website, and I'm always checking to see what's new. The day I'm actually filming this is the 1st of August, and one of my plans for tonight is actually to go on and see what books are coming out in September. Because with the Harlequin website, you are always given the month ahead. You can look at the month ahead and see what books are coming in, what books you might want to put on your radar that are going to be published end of August, pardon me, I've got the hiccups, end of August, early September, and add those to your wish list, which is kind of a great idea, right? So it gives them a bit longer of a shelf life. So even within the romance reading community, of which I think I am also a part of here on BookTube, these books are looked down their noses at by most readers, by most romance readers, because again, the throwaway aspect. This is not a Tessa Dare. This is not a Tessa Bailey. Sorry, I had Tessa on the brain there for a second. This is not, you know, the newest book by Lisa Kleypas, right? So it's not going to get that kind of drive, that push, that what have you from like Book Talk, Colleen Hoover. This is not the new Colleen Hoover. You know, on Book Talk or on Bookstagram, oh my God, she's got a new book that's out. And every account that you follow, every person that you watch is now promoting this new Colleen Hoover book or whatever, whoever the author happens to be. These books don't get that because those readers would not touch one of these books. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying that because they're, you know, they're missing out essentially. But the thing is that, and this is what gets me, is that you could sit there on the train, you know, maybe going to work, and some of these romance readers will be happily reading My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey, but would be embarrassed if they were reading this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the public's view of these books that these are throwaway books. They are not throwaway books. I can tell you, I have been so fortunate to be able to talk to tons of authors of these books. They work hard at these, you guys. These are not, you know, these are not easy. These are not like, okay, we're writing, you know, like, it's not like a Mad Libs where you're just filling in the blanks and getting a book published. No, these authors, you know, they put their heart and souls into these books just as Tessa Bailey would, just as Charles Dickens probably did, just with a slightly smaller word count and more sexy times. That's, you know, but yeah, but that's my thing. And like I said at the beginning, are some of these trash? Absolutely they are. You know, let's be realistic. This is not a Pulitzer Prize winning book. This is a book where there are a set of triplets, and one of the triplets in the first chapter is found dead, and the other two sisters need to find out what happened to her, and of course romance is going to ensue with this military guy who happens to be there as well. Yeah. But you know what, guys? This was freaking fun. This was absolutely delightful. It was a quick read from start to finish. It kept me engaged, and I loved it. So, is it trashy? Kinda, yeah, because it's a trashy little romance. But was it good? Absolutely, it was good. So, the thing is that there are some category romances that do break a little bit of ground, I like to think, in terms of stuff that they talk about. So the special edition line from Harlequin has been doing this quite a bit lately. So we had back in, what was the year before this one? 2021, which in my opinion took far too long. It should have been done way before that. We had our first male-male romance by Rowan Parrish, which was The Lights on Knoxbridge Lane. The second book the next book that she wrote came out for October of 2022. I was so thrilled with this. The Rivals of Casper Road by Rowan Parrish. So again, another male-male romance. So you're starting to see a lot of this. You're starting to see a lot of authors of color, of different circumstances, of biracial couples, of, you know, all kinds of things you're starting to see within these books. And it's not just the special edition line. Romantic Suspense is doing it as well. This is, I don't have a copy of it, but Cindy Dees wrote a male-male romance for this line as well. And, you know, it's McKenna Lee. She wrote a great book that came out at Christmas a couple of years ago. And the little girl in the book had Down syndrome. And I mean, these books are great. And I know I'm touching on special edition because they tend to be the ones that are kind of forefront for changing and pushing the envelope a little bit in terms of the types of stories we're seeing. But more of the category lines, we're seeing it a lot more often, which is great. Like I said, this romantic suspense line has some male-male romance in there too. And I think we're only going to see more and more and more of that, which is great. But at the end of the day, again, I touted that, you know, great, a male-male romance is this. This book was so good. It took place at Halloween, and it deals with a neighborhood competition of decorating up their houses for Halloween. Guys, this was fabulous. Again, was it a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel? No. Was it delightful? Yes. So yeah, I mean, the great thing about category is there's something for everybody. And I think that's kind of the definition of trash. And I'm going to use air quotes for that because there are books that are not necessarily up for the Booker Prize. I just saw that was announced today that the I could care less, to be completely honest. These are not, you know, going up for the Pulitzer. These are not, you know, going to be winning like huge awards. And sadly, even within Goodreads, you do not see these books coming up in the Goodreads Choice Awards. Do you know what I mean? I would love, and I've actually debated if I would never have the time to do it, but if I was retired, I would love to try and read through like all the categories that come out in a year and do like my own Choice Awards for, you know, the books that came out that year, because there's so many different categories. There's the, you know, the special edition. There's love inspired. So for those of you who read faith-based romance, there are love inspired. These are the suspense ones. They also have the regular love inspired where they're just faith-based romances. These are fantastic as well. You know, they've got, where's another one here? Historical. They have historical books, you guys. Of course they have historical books. You know, the Presents line, which is very much that fairy tale aspect of stories with princes and princesses, and he needs his queen, and it's a secret baby, and all the things. Desire, which is sadly ending this year, but, you know, are very wealthy businessmen and ranchers and billionaires. You know, you've got the medical romance, which all take place, of course, in hospital settings. And they're kind of changing things a little bit now, too, where they're actually now considering veterinarians to be in the medical practice, which I love. It makes me super happy. You know, you're seeing Heartwarming, which is sweet romances, but without the faith base. Like I talked about the love inspired. So there's no faith base in Heartwarming. I talked about historical. I'm just in my head going through all of the different lines right now to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then there's a lot of lines that are no longer with us. The Blaze line, the Temptation line, the Dare line. Stay tuned next Wednesday. I'm going to be talking about those three lines together and how they slightly differ from each other, because a lot of those books, again, are available still as ebooks. So you might want to go ahead and check them out. But yeah, I mean, there is something for everybody. They used to do a paranormal line. So if you are into shapeshifters and witches and vampires, you can find that there. So that is the great thing. So if you are participating in Garb August, even if you're not participating in Garb August, and you've never read a category, please, 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 just have a look, see what you can find in your used bookstore. Go on Amazon and have a peek around. I know that there's actually quite a number of them available on Kindle Unlimited as well. And see what you can find and pick one up. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy it, because these are fantastic, fantastic books, my friends, excuse me. So anyway, guys, that is all that I have for today's video. Any questions or comments, please post them below. And until my next video, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.